Hello, so apparently the UK may be considering banning crossbows now, because the slippery slope of banning things because of hurt feelings never ends. So why are crossbows being considered to be banned, or it's at least being talked about by politicians and the media? Because some scumbag shot his wife to death with a crossbow. So, or his ex-wife, you know, he could have just stabbed her or anything like that, but he used a crossbow, so now it's evil crossbows, assault crossbows, they must be banned, look how dangerous they are. Now, the media's had an agenda against crossbows in this country for quite some time now, actually. There's a few instances you can go back and look, and there's just hit pieces on them in the news where it doesn't even really relate to anything bad happening with them, but them just like, you could go into a shop and buy a crossbow, imagine how dangerous that could be. Oh, you're the ones putting ideas in people's heads then, aren't you, newspapers, if you're saying that people could get them and kill people with them when they're, you know, intended for a sporting use, target shooting. You're not even allowed to legally bow hunt in the UK, so all you can do with them is target shoot. You know, and they're good for that, that's what I do. Out of all the crossbows I've got, I'm trying to remember how many people I've shot with them, and I'm pretty sure the answer's 0 to that, but, you know, I'll let you know. Anyway, so, a crossbow, you know, it's completely, you know, like a firearm, it's kind of an inanimate object. It shoots a projectile, obviously. You have to draw back the string, and obviously on the decent draw weight crossbow you can't do that simply. You have to put your foot in the stirrup, pull the string back, load it into place, load your bolt in, aim and shoot. If you're actually interested in crossbows, there's lots of videos on my channels of how they actually operate. But going back to the subject at hand, you know, about just simply shooting these things, and, you know, them being banned, there's really nothing, you know, like wrong with these. It's just the ban mentality of something bad happens, so we must ban something is just ludicrous. So let's just say, for example, they decided to ban crossbows. Now, as far as I'm aware, what they've said is you need to consider how easy it is for people to get them, because there is a legitimate sporting use. So thank you, Labour MP, who said that, because that's not generally what a Labour MP would say. They'd say, you know, nobody has any use for them whatsoever. But they need to be harder to get because just anybody can buy them. At which point somebody like May said, oh no, there's very strict controls under crossbows anyway, and the truth's somewhere in between. You do have to show ID and everything when buying crossbows, but they don't check any like of your history or whatever. It's not like applying for a firearms license or anything like that. So again, it is a legitimate sporting good. We already have legislation in place with crossbows. I think it's the Crossbow Act of 1987. I actually read it, but I can't remember the year. But the point is, there are several rules with crossbows. You can't obviously hunt with them, because that's considered illegal now in the UK. You can't take them out into public places and do stupid things with them. That's a criminal offence. You can have broadheads for target shooting, but again, you're not allowed to use broadheads for anything. You know, but you can't bow hunt anyway, so that doesn't really matter. But the point is, you know, there's lots of rules already on crossbows in a sense. If you do stupid things with them, you will get arrested and charged. If you went around shooting people or animals with them, you'd get done or shot by the armed police, as you rightly should be. So, you know, a crossbow in itself isn't, you know, some sort of insanely powerful murder weapon. I say they're slow to load and shoot. They're not, you know, like some high-capacity assault rifle. Anyway, so if they banned crossbows, what would they go after next? Well, here's a big bow, obviously. Can't really hold it all that high in here because it hits the ceiling. But I think, what was the draw on this one, like 28 or 30 inches, but this is, you know, like a full-size recurve kind of thing. So, oh yeah, this is the one with, it's a 70-inch bow, and it's got a 28-inch, well, 28 pound draw on it. But the point is that if somebody was skilled enough and they wanted to kill somebody, if they learned how to use the bow, and obviously I do understand that it takes more skill to learn to use a bow properly than a crossbow, they could still nail somebody of it the same way as a crossbow. However, if we are getting into terminology, because I don't want to sound like I'm actually, you know, going, oh, look how powerful these things are. If you're getting into the stage where you think, oh, something is really dangerous and all this, you know, because of stupid reasons, what I'll point out to you is that, you know, in most of these murder scenarios, it's not somebody in like a really good concealed position where they're at a really far distance and they shoot a crossbow to like essentially assassinate somebody. These are generally up close and personal murders like revenge killings where crossbows have been used in any of these when the media throws a fit over them. So they're actually very rare. And in all these scenarios, I think pretty much anybody could have used a kitchen knife or something similar. And as you know, in the UK, our kitchen knife murder rate is out of control. But politicians don't care if they're actually kitchen knives. They say, oh, because people are getting stabbed with kitchen knives, we need to pass legislation on collectible knives. Even though they're not the ones being used in stabbing, but go with it. So, yeah, that's just sort of my thoughts on that. The thing I want to appeal to, though, in this video is because, obviously, I know most of my subscriber base is in America. This is why you need to be very careful on your gun rights. Because you give them an inch, they take a mile. Now, the Second Amendment is obviously a very strong part of American culture, as it should be, because, you know, it's one of the founding principles of America. And what you need to really understand is don't have an attitude like, ha ha, stupid Britain, look, they're banning another thing, what a load of wimps. You don't want to have an attitude like that. What you want to have an attitude is, I want to stop this happening here. Because the issue is, if you simply laugh at other countries which get more and more worse, ridiculous, with their bannings and legislations, you're probably going to let the same thing happen to you. So what you need to be is ever vigilant and make sure you're voting for the right people, I guess, and supporting the right groups or lobbyists, whatever, to stop all your firearms rights being taken away. Because, you know, the people who start off by saying, well, you don't need a 30-round magazine, you can have a 20-round magazine, and you don't need a semi-automatic rifle, you can have a bolt-action rifle. They're the sort of people that will actually push it to the stage where you can't have firearms whatsoever, because every step is just, you know, towards a further away goal. Their intention is never to just limit it to the first step. That's just to make it seem like, you know, well, there might be some people that do want to genuinely limit it to just one type of thing, but generally people passing that legislation are sort of, you know, taking it very slowly to get their agenda across. So anyway, that's my thoughts on the UK crossbow ban bollocks at the moment. Hopefully none of it will pass, but who knows, our government's close to collapsing at the moment anyway, so I wouldn't, you know, really think they could push much through Parliament right now.